is over. 98.5 Speed FM.
Catch us if you can.
Stay here with you. You are a rainbow, so I am lucky one. I am lucky one. You are my favorite song. I am lucky one. I am lucky one. I am lucky one. Same. Your love is constant. You've never lost it. Your voice is calling out my name. It makes me miss you, even when I'm with you. Oh, nobody wants to go it alone, and I just wanna stay here with you. So I am lucky one. I am lucky one. You are my favorite song. I am lucky one. I am lucky one. I am lucky one. I am lucky one.
A speedy welcome to the show for everyone. This is SPEEDy Talk on Asking Radio 98.5 Speed FM. And I'm your host on the show this afternoon. My name is Marysyntia Hangeior and I'm here with
Felicity Girgir.
And SPEEDy Talk is a program for the youth where we talk about things that concern and affect the youth. I hope you're having a beautiful day and you're feeling good wherever you are this Monday afternoon. It's the 8th of June 2026, and like I said, it's Monday. And it's been a while. We had Felicity on the show. So Felicity, I hope you've been good all this time that you've been away.
Yes, I've been good.
Okay, so for SPEEDy Talk today, we are talking about something that many young people sometimes look forward to, and maybe sometimes it doesn't exactly go as they planned or how they actually imagine it to be, or sometimes it actually goes smoothly or even goes better than they expected, but most of the time it always turns out to not be how they imagined it to be, maybe a little tougher than how they imagined it to be. And that is living independently for the first time. Living independently for the first time. For many people, there comes a point where they leave home, leave school, accommodation, leave relatives, or simply decide they want their own space and their own life. And honestly, a lot of young people cannot wait for that moment. We have people who are saying, I cannot wait to leave this house. I cannot wait to stop living with my parents. The freedom, the privacy, the ability to make your own decisions. Nobody asking where you are going or when you're coming back. Why are you not back by this time? Nobody asking you why you're back late. Nobody telling you when to sleep or when to wake up. To many young people, independence feels exciting. It feels like the beginning of maybe even real adulthood, but then reality begins to maybe show itself. Sometimes you discover that rent does not pay itself.
Exactly.
Food does not appear by magic, and you actually have to manage, transportation, repairs, and even daily expenses. And now your responsibility. And sometimes there are things people never expected until they experience them personally. If someone simply tells you that you don't know how it is, so living alone can be tough.
You never understand.
And you're just looking from the house like you that can even go wherever you want. I mean, you can do anything you want, and you're trying to convince me that it's still at home, that living independently is not the best. Maybe it was even managing money, or maybe it's just even loneliness. Maybe it's even the pressure of handling everything alone and not having something to simply go and say, mommy, this thing is happening, and she just has the solution automatically. So today on Speedy Talk, that is what we are talking about: living independently for the first time. What is your experience? If you have gone through that at some point in your life, what was your experience? What were you not prepared for? Because these are some of the things that people forget, They just want to be in a rush, and then I want to live independently. I need my own freedom. I'm tired of all these questions. My own space. So what were you not prepared for? What did you learn the hard way? And, you can tell us all of that. So people who maybe are at that point in their life, or they have just gotten to that space recently in their life, they can also learn from you. And it's myself, Marysyntia Hangeior, here with Felicity Girgir. And you also can call in to be part of this conversation. And the number for you to call is 08084 asking.
That is 0808 427 5464.
Living independently for the first time. What was your own experience, living independently for the first time? What are the things that you face that you feel like other people too should even know? Sometimes it's even maybe some things that you were actually deceived with, or you faced and you felt like you should have actually done better. Well, let us hear from you today. So Felicity, did you at some point, before that, are you living independently right now?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so did you at some point, maybe when you were still living with your parents or relatives, maybe you want to just move out, some days where you just get tired, like,
yes,
I cannot wait to leave this house.
Yes.
Did you at some point,
Yes, I did.
Okay.
At some point. Sometimes living with your parents can be, let me use the word that so many of us use, suffocating.
Okay.
Yes, because you feel like, I don't have privacy. I don't have freedom to do what I want and when I want to do it. Because every time your parents are telling you, okay, cook now, but you don't want to cook now. Clean now, but you don't want to clean now. You just feel like they are just telling you what to do, when to do it, and all of that. So you just feel suffocated. And that's how so many of us used to feel. And yes, I did feel like I want to move out, but now that I've moved out,
okay,
it's not, well, it's actually good in some aspects, but harsh realities, there are a few harsh realities too.
All right, we'll come to that in due process. This is Speedy Talk on Asking Radio 98.5 Speed FM. And I'm your host on the show this afternoon. My name is Marysyntia Hangeior, and I'm here with
Felicity Girgir.
And this afternoon, we are talking about living independently for the first time. That moment when you're finally ready to move out of maybe your parents' house, your relatives, where you've been, and then maybe even school accommodation, because, there are still people who are dictating, okay, this is what you do, things like that. And then you're ready to go and live on your own. How is it like? What were the things that you actually realized? What was the experience? What did you learn? Maybe even the hard way, how easy or how not easy was it actually for you? You can call in and be part of the show on 08084 asking.
That is 0808 427 5464.
Call in and let us hear from you. Let us hear your experience. We are also streaming live on Facebook at Asking Radio 98.5 Speed FM Makudi. So you can watch live there and even leave a comment if you have something to say on our topic of discussion this afternoon. So now to the real experience for you, Felicity. What was the real experience like? You said that you yourself, you at some point in your life felt like, so is it that first of all, is it like maybe you decided that in fact I'm going to move out, or maybe was this school that maybe brought you out and you just had to do it at that point?
It was school. It was school that brought me out. Yes.
Okay.
And when I first started living on my own, I have to say that it indeed feels like very liberating and very exciting, because now I make my own decisions. There's nobody that is telling me what to do and when to do it. I've created my own routine, and I just enjoy the privacy and the freedom a lot. So yes, that's how I felt all through since I started.
That's how you felt all through. So are there maybe any even sore sides maybe that you did not see coming? What are some of the things that you'd say living alone, the way living independently for the first time, like the way you imagined it to be? What are some of the things that you say it wasn't like that at all?
The first thing I would say is that every single thing requires money.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
That's why, because some things when we're living with our parents, we just feel like this is a small thing, but when you actually start living alone, you see that it's not even a small thing at all. Food, water, internet, transportation. As a student, as I'm living alone, and my parents are still I still call my parents from time to time, but it's not every time that I want to call my parents. Sometimes I'll just be like, I've already called daddy, I cannot call him again.
Okay.
So every single thing costs money. So I did not even see it coming at all. I just thought, it's just going to be easy. They'll be sending foodstuffs for me. But when those foodstuffs finish before time, I have to take
so your
responsibility.
number one problem, with experience is managing money, because everything actually costs money, just like you're saying.
Yes.
It's more like when you're at home, they already know, they can see all these things finish. As the food is finished, you don't even have to raise a finger. All you have to do is, mommy, there's no seasoning in the kitchen.
Sometimes you don't even have to
tell her.
To
say
she'll just say, I've seen that this one has finished. Just take money and go and buy it.
So this is Speedy Talk on Asking Radio 98.5 Speed FM. And I'm your host on the show this afternoon. My name is Marysyntia Hangeior, together with
Felicity Girgir.
And we are talking about living independently for the first time. If you have gone through that stage in your life, what did you learn from it? What was actually different? What was the experience? How did you maybe live through that phase? And what are the things that you actually learned from there that you would say someone else to actually know? Because it's like a lot of people come into that phase with, or they are so eager for that phase without actually preparing for it. You think maybe it's just going to be easy, and then it's just going to go smoothly, and then nobody to actually ask maybe questions, and then a lot of things that people imagine. So you also can call in and be part of this conversation, and the number for you to call is 08084 asking.
That is 0808 427 5464.
Call in and let us hear your experience on living independently for the first time. What was the struggle, or what was your happiness about maybe living independently for the first time? What do you think that people fail to actually understand? A lot of young persons who want to are eagerly waiting to enter that space. What is one thing that you feel like they fail to understand? Maybe you yourself actually went through that you would say is something that everyone should actually be prepared for. So Felicity, you mentioned about managing money, right? So was that all about it? Maybe the money part, or even other things?
Another thing is that nobody is actually coming to save you. If you are hungry, you are going to cook.
Okay.
If the house is dirty, you are going to clean. And if you have graduated from university, if the bills are due, you are going to pay them. Nobody is coming to save you.
Okay.
You have to do everything by yourself. Another thing is that loneliness can be real, because sometimes when you are alone, it gets pretty lonely. You miss family. The house it just feels too quiet, and you just want to see a few friends. You just miss everybody. It can get lonely sometimes.
Okay.
Yes, and another thing is time management. You have to manage social life, school, work, all of those things. So it can also be another harsh reality that you face when you live alone. And another thing is that financial discipline is no longer optional. Nobody is telling you that you need to save, or you need to manage this money. If you have 5K in your account, you have to think about, how am I going to manage this money to last me for this long? So, and then there's nobody that's covering up for your mistakes. If you overspend, impulsive buying, and all of those things, you don't have your parents that you can tell them that this is what happened, this is what happened. For people like me, if my parents send me money now, they hold me accountable to, if the money finished before it's supposed, like if I spend it too much, they're going to ask me, how come? You have to explain it. But when you live with your parents, I don't think you even experience all of those things. You are just free to some extent.
Okay. All right. This is Speedy Talk on Asking Radio 98.5 Speed FM, and I'm your host on the show this afternoon. My name is Marysyntia Hangeior, together with
Felicity Girgir.
and we are talking about living independently for the first time. Now, you also can call in and share your experience on the show, and the number for you to call is 08084 asking.
That is 0808 427 5464.
And we are also streaming live on Facebook at Asking Radio 98.5 Speed FM Makudi. So you can watch live on Facebook and even leave a comment if you have something to say. We are talking about living independently for the first time. What are some things that you think that a lot of people, maybe you have gone through some realities that you actually faced, and you think that most young persons actually do not understand quickly when it comes to living independently, for the first time, because it's just the eagerness. Just like you said, everyone is just thinking about, I'm going to be here. No one is going to ask me, where am I coming from this time, by this time, or where do I want to go to by this time, and a whole lot of things like that. And one funny thing is, I used to think that way about, finally, and for me it was maybe when I was going to serve, I used to think about it like, no one is going to ask me this. But let's take a call. Hello.
Good afternoon, Marysyntia and Felicity.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you.
Thank you very much. My name is Engineer Sunday at calling from Dunbar to Makodi.
All right. Welcome to the show, Engineer Sunday.
Seriously. I think it's an interesting scenario.
Mm.
Every young person that has ever gone to school, the first time you leave your parents is when you go to school. Like those of us who went to boarding school. The first time. Although that one you are not independent because you are just there with other students.
Yes.
They are away from the parents. People we used to stay very homesick and the rest. But that in fact, and then maybe you service also on your own. You didn't know how to cook before you learn how to cook.
Yes.
But the real being alone as independent is after your service and we got job, and I had to marry. The Bible says, so shall a man leave his father and mother and leave his wife. So you just have to obey that command. You must leave your father and mother.
True.
So that was you be there. Really, you got a partner. You as the head of the family, you just have to think very fast because you take decisions for the family and your wife. You decide what should be good for you. You can't just go and run to your parents any longer because you are ready to be a man now.
Okay.
So you take as a beginner, definitely you cannot start with your own house. You need to rent a house. Landlord can be forcing. You need to contend with that and do the rest. Make sure you're be ready for maybe when your partner is sick. Take the hospital. And when you got to start placing with children, take care of them. So it's a whole lot of responsibility, and I think it's nice to be independent. But, if you don't go stay on your own, you need to be independent, and you will not become somebody. So it's a nice experience. Difficulties are there, but some stumbling block can be converted to stepping stones. And that's what it is in life.
All right.
So,
All
I
right.
think it's a whole lot of experience.
All right.
People need to start, and we start it, and then you begin to. When you don't chicken out, you don't quit. Winners don't win, and winners don't quit. So,
All right.
There, you work hard, you always arrive there.
Okay.
So have a nice day, ladies.
All right. Thank you so much, Engineer Sunday, for calling in.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, to be part of the show. This is Speedy Talk on Asking Radio 98.5 Speed FM. And I'm your host on the show this afternoon. My name is Marysyntia Hangeior, together with
Felicity Girgir.
and we are talking about living independently for the first time. What was that experience for you? living independently for the first time, what are harsh realities, some things that you were able to realize, on your own, and was it actually what you imagined? Because to be honest, I don't think there's anyone who would say they were not excited about I'm going to live alone for the first time. I don't think there were people like that that
Nobody
would actually
like that.
No.
There's nobody like that.
And so you also can call in and share that experience with us. And the number for you to call is 0808 for asking.
That is 0808 427 5464.
And we also heard from Engineer Sunday, and he brought it even up to the level of when someone is starting to be independent when it comes to even marriage, like knowing that you have to make decision for other people. I mean,
Huge
just imagine, I can
It's a
barely
huge
even make the right
responsibility.
decision when it comes to my own self. Then having to make the right one to make sure that everyone is safe, you have other responsibilities. To be honest, that is actually a tough one, but we'll still get there, because one would think that, well, it's just at this pace, but then going forward, there's always a new stage that you've not, every day is a new stage and you've never been there before.
Yes.
Right? So call in and let us hear from you this afternoon on Speedy Talk on Asking Radio 98.5 Speed FM, and share with us your experience living independently for the first time. And like I was telling you, Felicity, for me it was about going to service, just like Engineer Sunday mentioned. For me, that was like the first time. You not catch me anywhere else. Even school, for some person, like you mentioned your own, it was school, right?
Yes.
My school was a private school, so we're not allowed to go out, nothing, nothing like that. Hello. All right, you can still call us back to be part of the show on 0808 for asking.
That is 0808 427 5464.
And like I was saying, we weren't allowed to go any. So you were still under people, they're telling you how to dress, how to do this.
How to dress as well.
Yes, now yes,
Okay,
yes, that's how it
interesting.
is. How to dress, how to do this, keeping in check. You know how it is. If you've heard of some of those schools, then you know how it actually is there, and you have to leave with like the right, exit. You have to take permission, and then it was just 3 times in a semester. So it's not like, and when I actually started living alone, that was for service. All the excitement just went away, because for me it wasn't just the money part. The money part is one that I suffered with a lot, because but then for other things, knowing that I actually have to tell someone that I have a problem or talk about something, because I was kind of this person that if I'm at home, maybe my mom is looking at my face and then saying, why are you looking like this now? Or maybe she will persuade until maybe I actually tell her this is what it is. And somehow, I don't know how parents do it. They just have the answer. They just have the solution. Like, and so is it not better for you to just do this thing like this, and it just works?
And it just works.
But somehow, if it's on your shoulders, then it becomes a hard thing. I don't know how that actually works. So you also can call in and be part of this conversation, and the number for you to call is 0808 for asking.
That is 0808 427 5464.
Call in and let us hear from you. We are talking about living independently for the first time. What is your own experience? What are some of the things that were as a shock to you? Hello. Okay, we cannot hear you, but you can still call back and let us hear from you this afternoon on Speedy Talk. So, Felicity, are there any things that you actually learned from living, independently up to this point?
Yes, first thing is I learned how to be responsible, because now I know that I have to make decisions. I have to manage everything. So it just helps you become responsible. You just know that, okay, this is how to do this particular thing, and this is how to do it well, and all of that. So you just become very, very responsible. You become responsible because you know that now you cannot make any mistakes.
Some people don't become responsible,
That's
to be
true.
honest. Like, you can
That's
say that
true.
for yourself, but then I've seen where some people go and even become worse. That is why.
Because then they don't have anybody to tell them, I don't do this particular thing, I don't do that.
But I really don't think it's about even not having someone to say that, because for someone like me, there were some things I was thinking, finally, if I go and live alone, I'll do it. But it's when I was living alone that I realized, okay, this is actually who I am. I am not going to
You're
go
not going to
anywhere
be-
simply because no one is watching. I'm not going to, some things, maybe they are just not meant for, or would we say that it's maybe teaching at home that someone carries outside? That could be the case as well, yes. Because sometimes some people go on and still become worse. The moment hands are loose, they just become worse.
But I feel like so many of us, like I'm using myself as an instance here, because for me now, I know that if I do this, the responsibilities are on my head, and I'm going to be held accountable. And accountability is key. If you don't hold yours, who are you going to hold? Because if something goes wrong, it's your fault that it went wrong. It's not anybody's fault, and nobody is going to come and cover up for you. So for me, I became more responsible living alone.
All right, it's Speedy Talk on Asking Radio 98.5 Speed FM, and I'm your host on the show this afternoon. My name is Marysyntia Hangeior, together with
Felicity Girgir.
And you also can call in to be part of this conversation, and the number for you to call is 08084 asking.
That is 0808 427 5464.
Call in and let us hear your experience living independently for the first time. What did you learn that you feel that other people actually do not realize, and they just think it's all about the fun, all about the freedom, like me doing whatever I want? We already talked about the money part, the responsibility part, the discipline part, knowing that no one is actually going to show up. And at some point you start feeling embarrassed to even call someone and then ask them to help. There are some things that you start feeling, you just have to sit down in your room and cry alone about being an adult, And I think something else that personally I realized is that not everyone is a good person. I don't know. People are going to try to use you. So many people, like, not everyone is a good person. Most people are just looking for whatever access they are going to have. Maybe is this person someone who can constantly be giving me their ingredients? So I don't know if you understand what I'm saying.
You're saying. Like, there are some people around you who are like there for the benefits.
Exactly.
Like, okay, and what am I going to get from this person?
And I actually had some of those experiences, back then, when there are people who I will keep giving and giving and giving to the point where it's the last drop of something. I know so well that, okay, I'm going to be hungry, by tomorrow, but someone comes and then they blackmail me with that. Maybe they are leaving and they're like, and I don't even know, it's because I even forgot to buy it. What am I even going to eat this night? Me that doesn't have anything in my stomach would then take it a little bit. I think I still have a little of that in me, but then that was like a place for me to actually realize that some people, they do it on purpose, and if you check, that person actually has before they are coming to you. So for me, that was even one of the things again, that assumption that everyone is a good person, they have good intentions. It's a lie.
And another thing is that you're going to actually learn the value of money, because like when you're living with your parents, you don't know that 1,000 naira that they are giving you to get something is actually money till you're living alone, and you are like, this 1,000 naira can actually do this and this and this for me, and I cannot overspend it or do whatever I want with it. And you just have to learn how to manage it to be able to get everything that you need. Okay,
this is Speedy Talk on Asking Radio 98.5 Speed FM, and I am your host on the show this afternoon. My name is Marysyntia Hangeior, together with
Felicity Girgir,
and we are talking about living independently for the first time. Now, you also can call in and share your experience with us, and the number for you to call is 08084 asking.
That is 0808 427 5464.
Let us hear from you. What did you learn? Maybe even the hard way, from living independently the first time. Because when it comes to going out, everyone is so excited. Oh, finally, they will not be telling me how low to cut my hair. Nobody will be telling me how this and this, but what did you have to learn? Maybe what was the harsh reality that you had to realize on your own from living independently? Maybe you got out and even realized that, okay, this haircut that they're asking me to have right now, even if no one is watching, or mommy is not saying, daddy is not saying anything, like, I have to do it on myself. And that money aspect that you mentioned, I actually went through that too when it was when I went to serve, because my mom was like the one who would say, what do you need, and all these things. And then there was one day my dad told me that, okay, even if they are going to be here, I should use this one as an opportunity to like learn how to deal with it. I mean, I was looking at it. Is it this money that they're telling me? He said, yes, that's money. There are people who would only be living on that. So I should try to be, but you know that the mothers are usually softer, right? So somehow, while I was independent, I was still dependent. And would you say your own now? You're completely independent now,
No.
even though you're still a little
I'm still
bit
dependent.
okay. So finally, like looking back now, you know, what would you had there maybe mistakes or some things that you made that you would have done differently if you could start all over again, you know, living independently for the first time?
I don't really think so, because I think I've not made any huge mistakes.
Okay, you adapted to
yet.
it quickly.
I adapted very, very quickly. Plus, I actually went to a boarding school. So I feel like even if in boarding school it's not totally independent, but you kind of get the experience, a little bit of the experience from there. So I kind of adapted very, very quickly to
Okay, I got that experience, but it was still hard. But you still show me the maximum, you know, it's quite different. Even there, I still there at the boarding school, you know, even though you do a lot of things, and somehow it just feels like, you know, you had people that were doing the same thing as you. We have the same routine, you know, so you wake up and you're like, okay, we are going to bath now. There is a bell that tells you this is when you're going to bed. This is when you're going for night preps. But then you just go and you're alone, and no one is telling you that if you oversleep, you're facing whatever punishment your guy is giving you. When you get to your workplace or when you get to school, you're facing whatever consequences that your lecturer is giving you. You know that they are real life. So one lesson I would say, you know, most people actually fail to realize, you know, from speaking with people, even speaking with my siblings, you know, and hearing people talk about this, I think people fail to realize that there are real life consequences for certain things. You know, there are consequences that you will face by yourself, and then there is no that support. You yourself, you even be scared to maybe even call back home and then you know, talk about it. So you said for you no major mistake, right? For me, that realization was there are consequences to everything, so we have to be careful. So that is it for Speedy Talk this afternoon. I hope you have enjoyed your time here with us. So far we have been talking about living independently for the first time, and I've been your host on the show. My name is Marysyntia Hangeior, together with
Felicity Girgir.
And also coming up next at 3:55 p.m. if today is your birthday, then Speedy Kids are going to be wishing you a happy birthday. And also up next at 4 p.m. the Speed Link comes on right here on Asking Radio 98.5 Speed FM. And until then, keep enjoying music of your life, and don't forget to remember that freedom is exciting until responsibility arrives.
Radio is magic. Radio transmits fast and